Hello, I'll be doing 1000 words just in 3 minutes. I need to take some deep breaths. My time starts now. Ancient armies have three kinds of warriors. The first was cavalry, armed men on horseback or in chariots. The second was infantry, foot soldiers wearing armor and carrying swords and shields. The third was projected warriors, or what today will be called artillery, archers, and most important, slingers. Slingers had a leather pouch attached on two sides by a long strand of rope. They would put a rope or a lead ball into the pouch, swing it around in increasingly wider and faster cycles, and then release one end of the rope, hauling the rock forward. Slinging took an extraordinary amount of skills and practice, but in experienced hands, the sling was a devastating weapon. Paintings from medieval times show slingers hitting birds in mid-flight. Irish slingers were said to be able to hit a coin from as far away as they could see it, and in the Old Testament book of Judges, slingers are described as being accurate with a hairbreadth. An experienced slinger could kill or seriously injure a target at a distance up to 200 yards. The Romans had a special set of thongs made just to remove stones that had been embedded in some poor soldier's body by a sling. Imagine standing in front of a Major League Baseball pitcher as he aims a baseball at your head. That was what facing a slinger was like. Only what was being thrown was not a ball of cork and leather but a solid rock. The historian Baruch Harpern argues that the sling was of such importance in Asian warfare that the three kinds of warriors balanced one another, like each gesture in the game of rock, paper, scissors. With their long pikes and armor, infantry could stand up to cavalry. Cavalry could, in turn, defeat projectile warriors because the horses moved too quickly for artillery to take proper aim. And projectile warriors were deadly against infantry because a being lumbering soldier well done with armor was a sitting dog for a slinger who was launching projectiles from 100 yards away. This was why the Athenian expeditions to Sicily failed in the Peloponnesian War. Thucydides described at length how Athens' heavy infantry was decimated in the mountains by local light infantry, principally using the sling. Goliath is heavy infantry. He thinks that he's going to be engaged in a duel with another heavy infantryman in the same manner as Titus Melinus fight with a girl. When he says, "Come to me, that I may give your flesh to the birds of the heaven and the beasts of the field," a key phrase is "come to me." He means come right up to me so that we can fight at close quarters. When Saul tries to dress David in armor and give him a sword, he is operating under the same assumption. He assumes David is going to fight Goliath hand to hand. David, however, has no intention of honoring the rituals of single combat. When he tells Saul that he had killed bears and lions as a shepherd, he does so not just as a testimony to his courage, but to make another point as well, that he intends to fight Goliath the same way he has learned to fight wild animals as a projectile warrior. He runs towards Goliath because without armor, he has speed and maneuverability. He puts a rock into his sling and wipes it around and around, faster and faster at 6 or 7 revolutions per second, aiming his projectiles at Goliath's forehead, the giant's only point of vulnerability. Ethan Hertz, a ballistic expert with the Israeli Defense Forces, recently did a series of calculations of showing that a typical size stone hurled by a expert slinger at a distance of 35 meters could have hit Goliath's head with a velocity of 35 meters per second, more than enough to penetrate his skull and render him unconscious or dead. In terms of stopping power, that is equivalent to a fair-sized modern handgun. We find Hertz writes that David could have slung and hit Goliath in little more than 1 second, a time so brief that Goliath would not have been able to protect himself, during which he would be stationary for all practical purposes. What could Goliath do? He was carrying over 100 pounds of armor. He was prepared for a battle at close range, where he could stand, immobile, warding off blows with his armor and delivering a mighty thrust of his spear. He watched David approach, first with scorn, then with surprise, and then with what can only have been horror, as it dawned on him that the battle he was expecting had suddenly changed shape. "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin," David said to Goliath, "but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands. I will strike you down and cut off your head. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword nor spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord, and he will give all of you into our hands." Twice David mentions Goliath's sword and spear, as if to emphasize how profoundly different his intentions are. Then he reaches into his shepherd's bag for a stone, and at that point, no one watching from the ridges on either side of the valley would have considered David's victory improbable. David was a slinger, and slingers beat infantries hands down. Goliath had as much chance against David. Oh, time up. I tried my best. You can rate how I was able to deliver this 1000 words just in 3 minutes. Kindly share this video to all social media platforms and to at least 10 of your WhatsApp contacts. God bless you and bye for now. Don't forget, make sure you are ready.